Good morning. Another beautiful sunny day here in eastern North Carolina. And before we get on to with today's video, if you could do me a favor and just check out the links in the description below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified when I do post up a new video. You may not be interested in every single video I do, or you may be interested in every single video I do, but there is so much coming up, so please hit that bell icon. This way you're notified when I do post up a new video. So let's get on with today's video. Last night I was thinking that I have a lot to do, but I couldn't figure out what it is that I wanted to do because there is so much to do. And I thought to myself, we're into early April, danger of frost and freeze has passed, and I have a lot of seeds to be planting up, and that is one of the things that I said I was going to do this year, is plant up a lot from seed to try to save some money. Because building a garden, believe it or not, does cost some money. I'm going to try to direct sow some zinnias today. I'm going to try to start up some basil, some Oxide sunflower that I collected from seed last year. I'm going to see about maybe if I got any seed from that, separate the seed from the chaff or the chaff from the seed. Let's see, we got wild coneflower, cardinal flower. I've never done cardinal flower before, or blazing star, which is Liatris. Of course, we got parsley and sage, rosemary, lavender, oh, and some more queen lime. So, zinnia, I believe. Yes, queen lime zinnia. So, let's get to work. Now, one of the first things I'm going to do today is I'm going to do some up potting. Now, let me show you. Here I have Echinacea Marry Me, and quite a few of these have their true leaves now. And to keep them in this tray with a very shallow root base isn't doing them any favors, I don't think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bunch of these, I'm going to put them into little pots, and they'll stay here probably in the greenhouse for the next few weeks. And then hopefully by then the flower garden extension, or wherever I decide to plant them, but hopefully in the next, let's say 3 to 4 weeks, they'll be large enough. They'll be filling out their pots, and then I can plant them into where I want them. But for now, I'm going to get them out of this tray, and that'll also free this tray up for me to plant other small seedlings today. Or seeds, I should say. So you saw me potting up the echinacea, and I also turned around and I potted up some blue globe thistle. Say that 3 times fast. So I got that potted up. I wasn't going to bore you with the up potting process, but one of the things that I'm discovering is I don't have that many pots in the small range. I have a lot of bigger pots for bigger plants that I purchased from nurseries and the such, but not too many smaller pots. So actually I think I'm done with my up potting at the moment. Actually, there is one more thing I'd like to up pot, but again, I'm pretty much out of small pots for the moment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start putting in some seeds into the trays that I emptied out. Alright, so the first group of seeds that I'm going to plant up into the newly cleaned out trays are the Oxide Sunflower Daisy. Now, I purchased this plant last year from local nursery, I believe. And then I planted it up on the mound. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to come back this year. It kind of looks that way, but it's still early days. It totally died back in the fall and winter. And now it's starting to come back, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. But if it does or doesn't, it doesn't matter. What does matter is I can grow new ones from seed. That's the important part. And if you can grow your plants from seed for free, hey, bonus, right? And again, I have 1.5 acres. I'm going to have hopefully in the future, a 60 by 90 flower garden. And that's just the borders. The border is going to be 8 feet deep. It's a lot, so I'm going to need a lot of flowers. and this was a very lovely flower. So I'm going to try to grow some from seed, but the first thing I need to do is I just grabbed the seed heads. Now you can see that. The camera will focus. There we go, the seed heads. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to separate the seed from the seed heads, and then I'll plant them into the trays. And of course, label and water everything, otherwise you forget what you have and where and when. And this is something that you could also do, obviously, if you're a vegetable gardener. You can turn around and try to collect some of your own seeds from the vegetables. And then you could reuse those seeds the next year if you like the variety or the type. And then that saves you buying seed from wherever you buy seed from. So it could actually save you money too in the long run. Hope that I get something that pops up that looks like a flower. And if I do, all the better. If I don't, well, it was a nice try. And it didn't really cost me anything. And now we're just going to take... See, I'm not sure what is the seed and what is chaff here. So what I think I'm going to do is take a little handful here and just sprinkle it around. And if it's chaff, it's just going to rot down. If it's seed, hopefully it takes root. And this may be overkill, but that's fine. I can always thin the seedlings if need be. There you go. So the Oxide sunflower daisies are done. The next one I'm going to do is wild coneflower. Purple coneflower you see everywhere. This one obviously is store-bought, so I don't have to worry about the chaff and the seed, etc. So I'm just going to put this in the tray. I'll water the whole tray, and then we'll move on to the next series of things that needs to get done. You know, as I was just tamping down the soil here, I couldn't help but thinking I should make myself a soil tamper. And basically it's just a block of wood, maybe with a little handle, and this way you can just press down the seeds into the soil before you water it if you want. It's just a good tool to have, and instead of using your hands. I don't mind using my hands, but it's just it's another tool that I could make. Sorry if there's any wind noise. It is a little breezy, which is actually nice because it feels a little cooler than what it is. I think it's going to be about 70 today, but again, I'm in eastern North Carolina. That sun on a 70-degree day feels about 75, maybe 78, 80. So the next thing I'm going to do, before I do that, I got a thing. See the thing? So I purchased a trellis from Gardener Supply, and I've already planted on this side some peas, which hopefully will climb up the netting because it's just metal piping with some netting on it. And on this side, I haven't planted it yet, but it'll probably go loofah. Now when the peas are done, or if the peas don't grow, whichever happens first, I'll then put cucumber on this side. The cucumber doesn't get as tall or as vigorous as the loofah does. So the loofah will go on this side, this way it doesn't block out too much of the sun for the cucumbers. But at the ends of each of the beds that they're in, I'm going to plant up some zinnia, and the zinnia will help attract the bees. I also believe, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I think they chase away certain other varmints, other insects. Not sure about that one. Again, if you know anything about zinnias, please leave a comment below. But at least they look a little nice, and again, they'll attract more insects to the garden, which then means that there'll be more bees to pollinate the cucumbers and the loofahs and the tomatoes when I eventually get that planted. And the tomatoes are a whole nother story right now this year. But anyways, look at the planting. And these are just going to go straight into the ground. Nothing fancy, nothing special. I'm just going to put them into the ground. I'm not even going to label them because, well, one bed will be the lime green, and the other bed will be the queen lime blush. And of course, if you don't follow me on Instagram, give a follow over on Instagram, because I'll probably wind up taking pictures of these things as they flower in the next few weeks, because I'm sure once these guys get going, they're prolific flowers and they just keep growing and growing. It's awesome. So we'll get to planting. things I haven't talked about is the plants that I've already planted. And behind you guys is a bed that I've planted carrots into several times with no success. I don't want to jinx myself, but it looks like I'm getting some carrots coming up, and they're starting to do their thing. So hopefully I do get some carrots out of that bed this year. When the carrots are done, probably in the next, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months, however long it takes for the carrots to do their thing, then I'll probably plant obviously something else in that bed. I might even do sunflowers. I'm not sure yet. Over in this bed here, I have German giant radishes. Right now there's about 8 of them. They started coming up, everything was looking great, and then we got a quick frost, and so that nipped a lot of them down. Looks like there's about 8 surviving, so I'm gonna let those 8 or 10 go. When they're full, I'll pull them out, and I might turn around and do some of those French breakfast radishes that I previously had said I'd gotten seeds for. And because the temperatures by that time will maybe be getting, we're talking maybe end of May, where are we, April? So probably mid-May is when these guys will be done. So it'll probably start getting pretty warm by then. What I may try to do is put a shade net over these guys and try. You know, this way it keeps the brutal hot sun off of them maybe for a good part of the day, but yet they may still grow. I don't know. You know, maybe something I give it a try to. In this bed over here, really nothing to show, but I have planted out some string beans, French beans, whatever else you want to call them. Bush Lake 47, I believe. Not sure, but if I remember, I'll put a thing below here. And I've got, well, one came up of one variety, but I purchased another variety, which I believe is an heirloom variety, and that one is coming up. 1, 2, 3. I got about 8 plants out of that one so far coming up. So again, not much to show today, so really not going to embarrass myself, but probably in the upcoming weeks, especially, let's see, I think last May, I did a late spring garden tour, so I'll probably do the same thing again this year. I'll do a late May spring garden tour, and I'll show you what's going on in the garden. So there you go, some seeds are planted out into the garden. The veg garden is growing slowly as things start coming to life. Carrots right below me, not going to show you, don't want to jinx myself. More seeds planted and started out in the greenhouse. And I'll probably get, like I said, about maybe another month of use out of the greenhouse before it starts getting too warm. I am going to inquire with the manufacturer, the vendor, about shade cloth and what options I have there. I may even wind up making my own shade cloth, and if I use the shade cloth, well, of course, you got to follow along. You got to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified of when I do post up a new video, and this way you can find out whether I do get a shade cloth and if I can use the greenhouse to any extent during the summertime, especially July and August when it just starts getting brutally hot down here. But that's going to wrap it up for today. Yeah, I'm not going to walk off camera today. No, instead I'm going to do this.